Nashville, Tennessee, buzzed with neon lights and the sounds of music spilling out of every bar. On one warm night in 1988, Oliver, an independent rock singer, took the stage at a local bar, pouring his voice and soul into the music. The guitar in his hands seemed like an extension of himself, and the crowd followed, entranced. Yet it was the gaze of a young woman in the back that truly captured his attention. She stood there, discreet and curious, absorbing each note. Sophia, from a small town in Texas, was taking a short break from her medical studies to explore Nashville. She felt captivated by the lively atmosphere, so unlike the serious, structured world she was used to. Watching Oliver on stage, she felt an unexpected connection, something visceral she couldn't explain. His intensity spoke to her, and for a few moments, she forgot all her responsibilities. He, too, noticed her between songs, intrigued by the mystery in her gaze. When Oliver finished the show, he left the stage and, without hesitation, walked up to her. With shy smiles and exchanged questions, they were soon talking like old friends. Nashville, with its bustling streets and gleaming buildings, became the backdrop of a special night. They walked together, side by side, talking about dreams and lives that seemed worlds apart yet converged in that moment. Time seemed to stop. As the hours passed, Oliver saw a balance in Sophia he'd never known. She was rational and focused, while he drifted on the currents of music and freedom. She, on the other hand, saw in him a freedom she'd always imagined but never experienced. Even so, they both knew they came from different worlds. But in that brief encounter, it didn't seem to matter. The city's warm air and music set the tone for an unforgettable night. In the days that followed, Oliver and Sophia met frequently, exploring Nashville's charms together. For him, each meeting was a source of inspiration. For her, it was a break from the strict confines of academic life. Their passion blossomed, fueled by youthful intensity and the intrigue each held for the other. Yet, they both knew time was against them, and that distance would soon be inevitable. When summer ended, Sophia returned to the University of Texas in Austin, resuming her study routine with a divided heart. Missing Oliver weighed on her, and letters and phone calls weren't enough. Every message mixed emotions with uncertainty, as she knew her world was so different from his. In his letters, he spoke of his music, his performances, and the opportunities beginning to unfold. In Nashville, Oliver felt that his music had lost something without Sophia nearby. Even amid the applause and success in local bars, her absence was like an unfinished melody. On impulse, he decided to visit Austin, hoping to rekindle that spark. Seeing her again, he felt the same rush as their first meeting but also saw the weight of her responsibilities. Sophia was exhausted, torn between her studies and her desire to be with him. During that visit, Oliver tried to convince her to leave it all behind and embark on a life of adventure with him, but Sophia knew it was impossible. She wanted to achieve her own dreams, but her love for Oliver made the decision even harder. When they parted, she cried, feeling unable to choose between love and her career. Frustrated, he returned to Nashville, uncertain if he still had a place in her life. Back in her routine, Sophia buried herself even deeper in her studies, trying to soothe the pain of separation with dedication to her medical path. The letters continued, but something had shifted. They both avoided speaking about the future, fearing the answers. He poured himself into his music, while she clung to her studies as if both were hiding from their own pain. The romance they'd lived in Nashville seemed more distant with each passing day. The distance and their different lives weighed heavier than they'd imagined. Oliver's friends encouraged him to move on, while Sophia's colleagues reminded her of her responsibilities. Conversations that were once filled with laughter and dreams turned tense, with each call a battle to keep the connection alive. They both knew the love was still there, but the barriers between them only seemed to grow. Months later, Oliver invited Sophia to an important show he had in Memphis, a city marking a milestone in his musical journey. After much hesitation, Sophia decided to accept, trying to ignore her fear that this trip would bring more conflicts. Watching him on stage, surrounded by the Memphis crowd, she felt the familiar pride and passion but also the uncertainty about their future. He shone brighter than ever, but it made her wonder if there was space for her in his life. After the show, Oliver took her for a walk down the famous Beale Street, where music seemed to fill every corner. The atmosphere was magical but thick with tension. Over coffee at a corner cafe, he confessed his dream of having her by his side on tour, living a life on the road together. Sophia, however, knew it wasn't possible. She wanted stability, a life that could support her mother and allow her to achieve her own goals. The following hours were filled with a frank conversation where both admitted their fears about what continuing their relationship would cost them. Oliver insisted they could make it work, but Sophia saw the challenges and differences more clearly. They walked through the Memphis streets in silence, each sensing that something was unraveling. The romance that had once united them now seemed smothered by the responsibilities they each carried. When Oliver walked her back to her hotel, the silence between them felt like an insurmountable void. He wanted to fight for the love they had, but he saw she was already distant. Sophia, on the other hand, felt a deep sorrow that she couldn't be the person Oliver needed. In that parting, both knew it was a turning point. She returned to Austin with a heavy heart, while he stayed in Memphis, wrapped in doubts. For Oliver, Memphis, once a symbol of his success, became the backdrop for a bitter farewell. He knew that despite the depth of his feelings, the distance between their lives was greater than he had imagined. Returning to Nashville was a mix of relief and sadness, as although his career continued, the love he held for Sophia seemed farther away than ever. Oliver and Sophia's relationship had become a series of missed connections and postponed promises, with her focusing on her studies and him increasingly traveling for shows. Oliver's efforts to keep their connection alive began to wear thin, especially as Sophia seemed constantly occupied. One night, while he had a show in Austin, he tried to convince her to come, but she couldn't make it. Frustrated, insecure, and lonely, he began to question where they stood. Sophia, on the other hand, was exhausted. Her shifts and responsibilities left little room for a relationship. She loved Oliver but knew she couldn't compromise her future. As she recognized the strain the relationship was placing on her, she began to wonder if staying together was the right choice. The emotional distance between them grew, and the passion they had shared in Nashville started to feel like a distant memory. Oliver, increasingly immersed in his band and performances, found the distraction that Sophia could no longer provide. During a tour stop in New Orleans, he succumbed to temptation and had a brief encounter with a fan, feeling remorse immediately afterward. Though fleeting, the betrayal was a silent breaking point for him. He knew he still loved Sophia deeply, but something essential had already been lost between them. When Sophia learned of the incident, the shock was devastating. She confronted Oliver, and even though he apologized, she knew something had shifted. She felt unable to forgive and that her love for him was no longer enough to overlook what he had done. With tears in her eyes, she decided to end things, even though she still loved him deeply. Oliver, too, realized it might be for the best. The separation was inevitable and painful. Sophia returned to Austin, dedicating herself to her studies, while Oliver moved to Los Angeles, seeking refuge in music and the opportunities the city offered. They each walked different paths, carrying the memory of a love that, for a fleeting time, had illuminated their lives. In Los Angeles, Oliver dove headfirst into music, making a name for himself in a city where dreams and illusions mixed. Every show was an attempt to fill the void left by Sophia, but after each performance, the same loneliness remained. The lyrics he composed were full of regret and longing, though he hid these feelings from his audience. To the public, he was a rising rock star, but inside, he bore a heavy burden. Sophia, now a resident doctor in Chicago, devoted herself entirely to her new career. Although she avoided hearing news about Oliver, he still crossed her mind in quiet moments, but she knew moving on was necessary. The endless shifts in daily interactions with patients demanded all her energy, making Oliver's memory seem increasingly distant. She was rebuilding her life, but a silent emptiness lingered. 2 years passed until fate brought them together again, this time in New York, where Sophia had been promoted. Oliver, now a touring star, had a show at Madison Square Garden. The reunion happened by chance at a charity event, and both were surprised to see each other. He still loved her, but now he was a man marked by fame and past choices. After the event, they talked at length about the changes they'd each experienced. Oliver admitted to the regret and loneliness that success hadn't filled, while Sophia spoke about the challenges and accomplishments in her medical career. The reconnection brought a swirl of emotions. Though they still loved each other, they both knew time had profoundly changed them. They left New York with a sense that there was still an unfinished story between them. Life went on, but their reunion rekindled a flame they thought had been extinguished. For both, the memory of that love became a source of hope, as well as a reminder of the choices they had made. In the city that never sleeps, the love they had tried to forget was quietly reborn, waiting for a new chapter. After their reunion in New York, Oliver and Sophia cautiously kept in touch, exchanging occasional phone calls and meeting for brief walks in the city. One day, Sophia finally revealed a secret she'd kept for years: Marcella, the daughter Oliver never knew existed. The revelation left Oliver stunned, overwhelmed by the shock of missing out on so many moments with his daughter. For him, it was like reliving the loss of Sophia, now compounded by an irreparable absence. Marcella, now 13, was a curious girl with a sparkle in her eyes that reminded Sophia of Oliver. After much hesitation, she agreed to introduce their daughter to him but warned him that it would be a slow process. Oliver agreed, willing to wait as long as it took to earn her trust. When he met her for the first time, Marcella looked at him with the same intensity as Sophia, and he felt his heart ache, realizing how much of himself she carried. To Marcella, meeting Oliver was a shock. Her life had been stable and secure with her mother, and having a musician father who was famous was something she didn't know how to process. Sophia feared that this reunion might create distance between her and Marcella, but she also knew her daughter had the right to know her father. With each meeting, Oliver tried to grow closer to his daughter, taking her around the city, sharing stories of his career, and patiently listening to her questions and fears. The process of reconnecting was delicate, and each moment was a blend of emotion and uncertainty. Oliver promised Sophia that he would be a present father, though he feared Marcella might never see him as such. Gradually, Marcella began showing interest in her father's story, surprised by the similarities between them. Sophia, watching from a distance, felt a spark of nostalgia for the man Oliver once was, and a quiet hope began to blossom in her heart. On their last evening together, Oliver, Sophia, and Marcella strolled through Central Park, sharing laughs and memories. There, Sophia realized that despite the pain and hardship, her feelings for Oliver had not completely faded. The family bond, though fragile, reignited something both thought they had lost. That reunion in New York was not only a starting point for a new family relationship but also a rekindling of their own love. As their meetings grew more frequent, Oliver and Marcella began to form a unique bond, marked by mutual discovery. He would take her to historic spots around the city, like the Metropolitan Museum and Rockefeller Center, and between their excursions, he taught her the basics of playing guitar. Marcella showed talent and curiosity, and Oliver grew increasingly impressed by her intelligence and enthusiasm. Seeing his daughter grow brought him a satisfaction he'd never known before. Sophia, meanwhile, felt torn between the joy of seeing Marcella happy and her lingering fear that Oliver might disappoint them again. She tried not to show her worries, but she couldn't deny the fear of reliving past pain. Sensing this, Oliver worked to show her that he had changed. Even when tensions arose between them, he kept his patience, determined to regain Sophia's trust. He knew her love still existed, but he was careful not to rush anything. One weekend, Oliver invited Sophia and Marcella to a short trip to a nearby town. They rented a cabin, and under the stars that night, the three shared stories and feelings they had never expressed before. Oliver told Marcella what it meant to have her in his life, and Sophia, moved by his sincerity, began to see that maybe time had truly transformed him. The calm air and the cabin's solitude offered them a rare sense of peace. Seeing the growing connection between her parents, Marcella began encouraging Oliver to be present more often. Even at her young age, she understood that he was trying to make up for the lost years. For Oliver, every moment spent with his daughter and the woman he loved was a step toward redemption. Watching his dedication, Sophia started allowing him to grow closer, and soon they began discussing the possibility of becoming a family once again. Over the weekend, Sophia and Oliver shared a private moment in which she revealed her fears, and he laid out his intentions. It was an honest conversation, filled with tears and smiles, and for the first time in years, they both felt ready to open a door to a new beginning. Their love, old and renewed, seemed to bloom again, like a flower re-emerging after a long winter. After that weekend, Oliver proposed to Sophia the idea of moving to New York to be closer to her and Marcella. For him, giving up the touring life and constant shows was a necessary sacrifice, and he was ready to make that choice. Sophia, however, didn't want him to completely abandon his dreams and suggested finding a balance that would benefit them all. Hearing this, Oliver felt a mixture of relief and gratitude as he realized she was genuinely trying to support him. Oliver began performing smaller shows around New York, accepting local contracts and giving up on long tours. Sophia even started accompanying him occasionally, something she had never done before. She finally understood the love he had for music, and watching his passion on stage made her admire him even more. Now that Oliver was around more, Marcella attended his shows and helped him backstage, enchanted by the world of music. Over time, Oliver discovered that he could, in fact, sustain his career without sacrificing his family. This realization was a victory for him, reaffirming his commitment to Sophia and Marcella. While Oliver divided his time between music and family, Sophia balanced her demanding job in medicine with family time. Though her work remained challenging, she now had in Oliver a support she never imagined he could be. Sophia and Oliver recognized that their careers could coexist and that the love they shared was only growing stronger. Sophia encouraged Marcella to enjoy music but emphasized the importance of her studies, while Oliver helped their daughter find a balance between both pursuits. As a family, they seemed to fall into a rhythm where love and respect for each other's dreams were at the core. One night, at a small club show in Brooklyn, Oliver sang a new song dedicated to Sophia and Marcella. From the stage, as he basked in the applause, he found them in the audience, their eyes shining with pride. The moment felt like a quiet victory for him, a confirmation that the life they were building together was solid and full of meaning. With their family life finally stable, Oliver and Sophia began discussing a more formal future together. Marriage was a delicate subject, but Oliver, now certain, bought a ring and planned his proposal. On a winter night in Central Park, he took Sophia and Marcella for a stroll under the holiday lights as snow fell softly around them. In front of the frozen lake, he knelt and asked Sophia to marry him, with Marcella watching, teary-eyed. Sophia, taken by surprise and deeply moved, accepted, feeling that the moment was a confirmation of everything they had built together. Marcella rushed to embrace them, and their joy stood out beautifully against the wintry backdrop. For Oliver, this commitment was more than a promise, it was the fulfillment of a dream. Deep down, he knew everything they had gone through, both mistakes and achievements, had been necessary to reach this point. News of their engagement spread quickly among friends and family, and everyone who knew their story was touched. With her heart full of happiness, Marcella helped plan the wedding, while Sophia took care of the details. New York City, the silent witness of their many reunions and separations, would now be the stage for this new beginning. The ceremony was set for early spring, in Central Park, where everything was coming to life again. On the wedding day, the ceremony was intimate and filled with emotion. To the sound of a melody Oliver played himself, they exchanged vows and tears, promising each other loyalty, respect, and unconditional support. Marcella, emotional, gave a heartfelt speech, saying that her life would never be the same without her parents together. The love between Oliver and Sophia, now official, was a victory over time, distance, and hardship. After the ceremony, they held a cozy reception in a Manhattan restaurant. Surrounded by friends and family, Sophia and Oliver danced to a song he had composed just for her. Watching her parents together, Marcella knew this moment was the true beginning of a new life for them all, a life where love and respect would be the pillars holding up their family. Life after marriage brought new challenges, but it also strengthened the bond between them. Inspired by her parents' journey, Marcella remained dedicated to her studies but never abandoned music. On weekends, she and Oliver would play together, creating melodies that filled the house with joy and connection. Watching them, Sophia felt at peace, certain that the past had found a safe place in their new reality. Oliver and Sophia faced the ups and downs of life as any couple would, but now with a trust they hadn't shared before. She continued working as a doctor, and whenever possible, joined Oliver at events and shows. They had learned to embrace their differences, understanding that their distinct personalities kept the relationship vibrant. Oliver, in turn, realized that his career could coexist with his dedication to family. As the years went by, Oliver and Sophia watched Marcella grow, torn between medicine and music. When she graduated high school, she chose to study medicine, promising herself she'd never give up on music. For her, this choice reflected her parents' union and showed her that opposing dreams could coexist. The family, although unique in their differences, symbolized resilience and unity. During the holiday season, they gathered in Central Park, reminiscing about difficult times and celebrating their victories. Memories of their first meetings and struggles now strengthened the bond between them. Marcella, proud of her parents, often saw them as inspiration for overcoming her own challenges and for believing in the power of love. Thus, the love between Oliver, Sophia, and Marcella flourished, leaving behind a legacy of hope, resilience, and understanding. Their family, built on forgiveness and acceptance, had become a lasting harmony. Each note Oliver played and each of Sophia's achievements was a testament to their journey, proving that true love could withstand time, distance, and any obstacle. With family life now well established, Oliver and Sophia entered a new phase of challenges. Domestic routines required a constant balance between professional responsibilities and family time. Sophia's dedication to her hospital work made her hours unpredictable, while Oliver began receiving offers for larger shows in New York and other cities. Both struggled to juggle their commitments, realizing that family harmony was being tested. Marcella, who watched the tension between her parents, tried to remain neutral but couldn't hide her concern. She noticed that both of her parents' dreams continued to be a source of conflict. Now split between her own dream of becoming a doctor and her passion for music, she saw in her parents a reflection of her own doubts about the future. In a heartfelt conversation with Sophia, she admitted her fear that their careers might drive them apart again. Aware of the impact their choices had on their daughter, Oliver and Sophia decided to make adjustments. Oliver opted to limit his travel for shows, focusing on local events, while Sophia reduced her night shifts to spend more time with the family. They knew finding balance would be difficult, but they were determined to make it work. Mutual commitment and open conversations helped maintain their unity and strengthened the trust between them. With these changes, the atmosphere at home became lighter, and family nights became more frequent. Sophia started attending more of Oliver's smaller shows, understanding his world better. Watching her parents find a way to live harmoniously, Marcella felt inspired, and over time, her own doubts about the future were replaced by newfound confidence. Family life now thrived on a balanced routine and a willingness to adapt. Each success came with a renewed understanding that love, although deep, required constant work and sacrifices. Sophia and Oliver realized that their biggest challenge was accepting each other's flaws and limitations. At the end of each day, they acknowledged that what kept their family strong was the willingness to face difficulties together, tackling life as a team. At 17, Marcella faced the decisive moment of choosing a career. Torn between a desire to study medicine and her passion for music, she felt pressured by her own expectations and her parents' example. She spent hours with Oliver, playing guitar and composing, but also deeply admired Sophia's work as a doctor. At home, the topic of her career choice became a frequent and delicate subject. Sophia, concerned, emphasized the importance of education and stability. She wanted her daughter to have a secure career, like medicine, and encouraged her constantly with advice and support. Oliver, on the other hand, supported Marcella in following what truly made her happy, believing that a passion for music could coexist with other responsibilities. Discussions about her future sometimes caused minor tensions between the couple. One Sunday afternoon, the family sat down for an open conversation on the matter. Marcella, visibly emotional, shared the weight of deciding her future while wanting to honor her parents' hard work. Listening to her sincerity, Oliver and Sophia realized that Marcella's decision should be her own. They both agreed that the most important thing was for her to feel supported, no matter what she chose. After that conversation, Marcella felt free to explore both worlds. She decided to start medical school but committed to keeping music in her life as well. This decision eased family tensions and brought a sense of peace. Proud of their daughter's maturity, Oliver and Sophia knew that by respecting her choices, they were strengthening their family bond. In the months that followed, Marcella continued pursuing both paths. Oliver encouraged her to practice with him and compose her own songs, while Sophia supported her studies and preparations for college. Her life was finally aligned with her dreams, guided by the inspiration she drew from her parents. During a performance in New York, Oliver encountered old friends from his touring days. Amidst conversations, memories, and shared laughter, he realized just how much his life had changed since those days. His friends invited him to join an international tour, a chance to once again reach the big stages. The invitation shook him, reigniting his old desire to explore the world through music. When Oliver told Sophia about the offer, he saw the apprehension in her eyes. She understood how much this dream meant to him, but she also feared that the distance could destabilize their family. Marcella, overhearing the conversation, encouraged her father to seize the opportunity, believing he deserved this chance. For Oliver, the support from both his daughter and wife was a testament to the love and trust they had built over the years. After reflecting and discussing the decision with Sophia and Marcella, Oliver chose to accept the tour, but on one condition: the trips would be short, allowing him to return frequently. Sophia, despite her insecurities, agreed, acknowledging that supporting Oliver's dream was part of their bond. Marcella, proud of her father's decision, promised to join him in one of the cities to see him perform on an international stage. The tour was a success, and Oliver returned home filled with stories, reliving the thrill of conquering the world with his music. The family, who had followed every step from afar, was there to welcome him and listen to his tales. This reunion confirmed for them that they could balance individual ambitions without compromising the unity they cherished so much. The tour experience made Oliver realize that true happiness was by his family's side. He decided that from then on, he would prioritize opportunities that allowed him to stay close to Sophia and Marcella. The fulfillment he once sought on distant stages now felt like a part of his past, left behind for the life he had built with his family. The years passed, and Sophia reached her 50th birthday, a milestone that led her to reflect on all the choices she had made in life. Oliver and Marcella decided to throw her a surprise party, bringing together friends, colleagues, and family for an intimate celebration. For Sophia, every face at the party was a reminder of the achievements and hardships she had overcome. Surrounded by people she loved, she felt truly fulfilled. At the celebration, Oliver performed a song he had composed especially for her, recounting their story of love and redemption. Watching him perform, Sophia's eyes filled with tears, deeply moved by the love they shared. Marcella, standing beside her mother, held her hand, equally emotional. Oliver's song reminded everyone of the power of love and resilience. Friends and family raised their glasses to the couple, recalling the difficult times and victories that had cemented their story. Holding each other close, Sophia and Oliver felt grateful for all they had been through and for how they had managed to turn past hurts into love. This celebration was a significant moment for them, a recognition of the life they had built together, overcoming hardships and staying strong. At the end of the night, Sophia gave a heartfelt speech, thanking Oliver for his support and Marcella for her unconditional love. She shared with everyone the lessons she had learned, that true love requires sacrifice, and that support and understanding are the most vital elements of any relationship. Her words were met with applause, and the family celebrated yet another chapter in the story they had built together. The evening closed with the family dancing together under the city lights, fully aware that the love they nurtured was the greatest accomplishment of their lives. Standing beside Oliver and Marcella, Sophia felt a profound sense of contentment, knowing that everything they had built was the result of an enduring commitment. As the years went on, Marcella graduated from medical school but never let go of her love for music. By the age of 25, she had already made a name for herself as a dedicated doctor and a talented musician. Following in her parents' footsteps, she balanced her life between responsibility and passion. Now more mature, Oliver and Sophia watched their daughter's journey with pride, seeing in her a reflection of everything they had built together. The legacy of love and perseverance that Sophia and Oliver passed on to Marcella was evident in every choice she made. The three of them began to reunite for annual trips, visiting places that symbolized important moments for the family. On each trip, they recalled old stories, celebrated their unity, and created new memories to keep the family bond alive. Though Oliver and Sophia were retired from the most demanding parts of their careers, they remained involved in local activities, devoting their time to supporting young musicians and medical students. For them, every new project was a chance to give back to the world the love and lessons they had gained over the years. They felt grateful to contribute to the lives of younger generations. One evening, while walking down Beale Street in Memphis, Oliver took Sophia's hand and kissed it. He knew that their journey, full of highs and lows, was proof that true love withstands time and challenges. Sophia, smiling serenely, looked at him with the same sparkle as when they had first met. Both understood that what they had built together was nothing short of a treasure. Their lives continued with the same peace they had found beside Marcella and in their shared achievements. The legacy of Oliver and Sophia was a story of love and resilience, a model that Marcella would carry with her for the rest of her life. Together, they remained side by side, living the most beautiful song of all, one composed by time and unconditional love. After years of reunions and separations, sacrifices and discoveries, Oliver and Sophia finally found a unique harmony, a melody that bound their lives together in a deep and lasting way. Their story, marked by resilience, forgiveness, and an unbreakable desire to start anew, became a testament to the transformative power of true love. Marcella, the cherished fruit of this resilient union, now carries her parents' legacy, the courage to follow her own dreams, always keeping her heart open to love and understanding. Their journey, which took them from the neon lights of Nashville to the bustling streets of New York, showed that true love can endure time and differences, finding new ways to flourish even in the hardest circumstances. Oliver and Sophia proved that when two souls are meant to be together, no obstacle is too great, and no mistake is unforgivable. For them, love became a song that would never stop playing, feeding the life they built together with compassion and companionship. If you enjoyed this story filled with twists and emotion, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss more incredible narratives like this. Continue following along to see how stories of resilience, love, and forgiveness can inspire change in our own lives. With every new story, there's a new lesson, a new feeling, and the hope that true love will always find its way.